you mentioned that you will name all the buildings and streets by the American states and cities. And also, you mentioned that you will hire teachers from the United States in the village. I wonder, there's two questions following that. One is, have you ever think about whether the Russian can pronounce all the, how many Russian can speak English? Maybe it's better to just use simple number or letter or maybe even Russian for the name. And also, I think if you promote too much about America, U.S. in Russia, I doubt whether the government will continue to support that, because it's like the village is promoting a U.S. ideology, like you're promoting American culture. I don't know. I doubt whether the government would like to do that.
Well, there are actually a lot of as we mentioned before, there's a number of country-themed villages that do the same thing that we are encouraging. So, like the German-themed village has some of the similar aspects and really focus on the culture, on the German culture. There's also an Italian-themed village, and and so like that was kind of the point, is to actually have people come and kind of get in a little aspect of American life. And for like the street signs and for like the names of roads and things like that, I think that's one thing that really like gives people a little slice of the pie of saying, like, you know, I don't know, just I think it's just another aspect that focuses on that.
Jesse, sorry, you done?
Oh yeah.
Sorry. You raise a really good point. I think it's very important for us to tactfully lay on parts of American culture in the American village, not as heavily as that. I think the schools, we definitely have to promote it there. We want to promote it there. I think we could be very flexible with the street names and signs. We have to make it so it's practical. I think one thing we're going to do is go into do research about this and do some focus groups and interviews to find out how to tactfully balance them actually living in Russia and it being called American Village.
And even though on the national level, Russian-U.S. relations may be frosty, when you go down to like the local Krasnodar area, from what we've ascertained and from what our CEO told us, the people don't like hate America. And also, as far as whether it would be, we'd get trouble promoting U.S. ideology. First of all, I mean, you know, we're not trying to promote U.S. ideology, but even just U.S. culture, like the U.S. had their, you know, American University in, you know, Beirut. Like, there's American universities all over the world, even in countries that aren't necessarily on the most friendly terms with us. I don't think we're gonna experience a barrier on the national level just because of that. And from everything that we've gathered, we have pretty good government support, so we're not really concerned about it.
But one thing we are going to focus on is top quality products, because they relate that with American. So we will be strong with that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't a peer evaluator for this project, but it did seem very comprehensive for sure. So good job. I did have a question about you said you're targeting young people, and since a lot of young people have less income, what's the industry that's fueling this income? Is there an industry in the city you're moving into that, you know, like maybe in the Silicon Valley there are lots of like rich young people, or New York City? Is there something like that versus like a young person living in a smaller town? Maybe it's just the fact that, like, you know, apartments cost less, it lets them live in luxury. What's kind of the factor here that's making this happen?
Well, in terms of the economy, so the area is, as we mentioned, multinational corporations, as Jackie mentioned, also tourism friendly, so lots of resorts. The business, the GDP of the area really comes from agriculture, agribusiness, and also manufacturing and mining. So there's a lot of money actually floating around in the area. That's what we could gather, and I think it's ranked pretty high in the income levels across the nation. Also, the construction trends are third highest in terms of construction for residential houses. So we think that there's a huge demand, and also people have money because of these kinds of jobs. So it's that also the investment climate, as I think we brought up earlier, is very conducive to having foreign direct investment in, as Jackie also mentioned, the law side of it. So
Yeah, and it's going to be about 20 kilometers, which isn't that far from from a bigger like urban center, as well as that one that a young urban family, a lot of younger people save more than what we're used to, and so they'll actually have more income to be able to move into the house, into these houses, as well as a lot of Russians actually live with their families for longer periods of time, so that they have money as well to buy these houses, and just the fact that there just aren't that many good housing options for young families in the region either.
Do you know how long people usually stay in their homes, especially because it sounds like it's kind of targeted towards really younger
It's over a decade.
families?
Yeah, at least 10 years. Yeah, people usually try and look for homes to stay in them for a while.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.